Who's Mike Wirth? Mike Wirth is a professor here at Queens, artist in Charlotte and around the country, dad. I've always been into art. I've just always, like every kid, loved to draw, take out the crayons, but I spent more time on it than most kids. So it became clear to my parents and me that that was going to be my future. I didn't know what it was going to be. I like cartoons, I like video games, you know, all the things that came out in the 80s were like eye candy to me. So I was like, yeah. So I don't know, kind of just did it until I figured out what was going to be my career. Some of the stuff I'm doing now is I've brought back an old way of like an old style that I had in college. I used to do this sort of like, instead of filling an area with color, I would fill it in with little lines and circles, like Morse code looking patterns to fill a space. And I've always wanted to do that because to me it represented kind of energy and invisible power, right? So a favorite piece of mine, but when it came to doing because it was a personal piece, when it came to doing a professional job for Peculiar Rabbit, the owner said, like, well, I really love Starry Night, you know? And I was like, well, because I had shown him one of my sketches, and I was like, well, I could just paint this with a roller, and it's like really easy. So he was hip to it, and we went for it. We got the colors right, and it just worked. So there's something about it that I realized halfway through the mural that like I was just gonna do a Starry Night background with the stars, with the yellow and then the blue cutting back on top to make it look like it was glowing. But then the bunny is wearing like a red suit, like a jacket. So I was like, well, what if I shaded and tinted the rabbit with colors? I made them flow, and I got my can out because I didn't have those colors for a roller, right, in a pan. And I just started putting pink over the bunny's jacket, and I was just like, damn! And that just kind of made me go, this is working. And then the can flow versus the roller being like, you know, 5 inches of solid, and then, like, it worked, but the can, I could bend them like elbow macaroni, and then all of a sudden my flows were flowing. And then I could take the flow of the background and continue it into the rabbit. And then I think that's what makes the piece just lock tight. Even the beer has flow through it. So like on its own, like they're not great paintings, right? But once that skin brought them in to unify and make the piece one cohesive structure, we had the scissor lift. I had a 75-foot scissor lift on a boom, so it was like this like thing that just kind of goosenecked. So I just threw us out over the street so we could stand back. Me and my partner, Dustin, we were working on the piece together. And I just was like just loving it because it had finally locked up. And when you feel like that moment of like, it's like, man, all that extra work, all that extra paint and like frustration was worth it. And the owner of the Peculiar Rabbit hired me again to do the rabbit hole, and he let me do my thing. He didn't say, he first said, I want more rabbits. And I was like, all right, I gave you the biggest rabbit in town. What do you need now, right? More? Like, and he's like, well, and I was like, well, let me hit you with an idea real quick. So I kind of made it up and sent it to him, and we looked at it together on his computer, and he just went, whoa. And he's like, what is this? What it looks like a dragon to me? Like, what is it? And I'm like, this is the energy of the neighborhood. And he was like, oh. And I was like, right? Like, nobody can put their finger on it, right? Like Plaza Midwood as a neighborhood in Charlotte is so all over the place. I mean, you have every class, every race, and it's artsy, right? But then also families, and then also retail, and then it's a lot of stuff. So when I did How a Bill Becomes a Law, I did that as a contest with the old chair of history from here, who's no longer with us, at Queens. She's still alive. Dr. Suzanne Cooper-Guasco, great friend of mine. We collaborated and we did How a Bill Becomes a Law, and that graphic exploded. I mean, you know, it's for sale as posters. It's like, it was on kids.gov for a while until the government did their own infographics, but back when they were getting hip to it, I got a note from the GSA, General Services Administration, saying, hi, I'm the administrator appointed by the Obama administration. President thinks your graphic is dope, and you know, we want to use these types of things to enrich young kids, and we just want to know if we can use it on the website. And I was like, absolutely yes. Yeah. Queens commissioned me, which was lovely, to do this space. So this is the communication war room, right, or the boardroom in here. really funky space. I worked with the former dean of the school to come up with the idea, and it's abstract, right? So like what you're seeing is this is the bokeh effect, B-O-K-E-H. So it happens from lenses, right? It's when we distort color fields and you start to see the grain from the optics. Yeah, it's kind of dope. And I just thought like this communicates the energy and the speed of journalism, right? And I wanted that to be present here. Not just like, so I'll give you an example of contrast. I had done a mural in the Rogers building, and that one is very, over, like direct. It's straight ahead, right? In that like it's not abstract. It's a collage of all of the world's greatest scientists through history, right? And like I worked with the science faculty. We put quotes in there. I had them give me their favorite scientists. I even put the call out and said like, I need you guys to help me fill out the list of female and minority scientists, because like the regular things are not showing them. You know, it's like, it's Benjamin Bannister and George Washington Carver. That's it, right? It's like there's more than 2 famous black scientists. Like, please, you know what I mean? I also did the. If you look at Rogers Hall on the outside, there are these cement tiles that have like flowers and plants on them with a little letter. That spells our motto, right? Non ministrare sed ministrare. So, yeah, that's sort of my Illuminati building puzzle. So yeah, that was fun. I want to keep doing more of that.